The 2K Sports pregame show, brought to you by Kia.
Welcome, everybody. This is 2K Sports with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Ernie Johnson. Tonight, it'll be the San Antonio Spurs up against the Detroit Pistons. Well, for Detroit, number 8 in the East. Again this season, they're right there among the teams in contention, but not necessarily considered elite. Sort of the way things worked out for them in the prior season. And Detroit last season shot up in the standings, largely due to their improvements on the defensive end. Shaq, how'd they do it?
Well, Steve Van Gundy is a guy who knows how to coach defense. I played for him in Miami before he was fired. They play well as a unit, and they're sharp with the help defense.
Did he turn you into a defensive force?
No. I'm not known for my defense, Ernie.
What are you known for?
Prolific MF scoring.
What's MF again?
Most frequently.
Oh, okay, got you. But I'll tell you, one thing about them is that they don't have many weak defenders. So what they do is they switch everything. So you make a pick, they switch. The one guard can guard the four guy. The four guy can guard the one guard. So everyone switches on it. That makes it a lot easier to have a defensive concept.
Looks like both teams are ready to tip this thing off. Let's get it to Kevin Harlan.
Don't switch the channel. Get it?
Don't switch everything.
We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Spurs come into town. 2K Sports brings you Friday night NBA action. This is Kevin Harlan along with Greg Anthony and Brent Barry. David Aldridge will be reporting from the sidelines. The Pistons hoping for a happy ending to close out their homestand before hitting the road. They've been playing very well lately. It's been 4 wins for them in their last 5 games.
And right now for the Pistons, they've basically lived up to the expectations so far this season, and that's not really good news for their fan base because those expectations only had them on the brink of the playoffs.
Unfortunately, those expectations were right on the money. They just weren't ready to join that elite group of teams at the top of this league. And they're still in the playoff picture, and we all know anything can happen in the postseason.
A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Leonard and Aldridge, the 2 stars at the 3 and the 4. Parker and Green, the tried and tested backcourt. And it's Dedmon in at the center, filling out the middle. 5 on the clock. A 3 from Leonard. The shot misses. The Pistons go the other way with it. Their last game a win against the Lakers, looking to carry it into this one.
And the way they attacked the basket in that game was unreal. I mean, after a while, the defenders seemed to just wave the white flag.
Yeah, the point's not hard to come by for them, that's for sure. I'd have surrendered too if I was trying to defend against that potent attack.
And Brent, with the All-Star break coming up, a lot of players will use this time to rest their bodies, and we've talked about it, prepare for the home stretch.
You know, people think, Kevin, that the All-Star break comes up and all of a sudden players just go and sit in bed and eat bonbons all the time. You can't do that.
No.
It might be extra days for the All-Star break.
Who's doing that? Who's eating bonbons in bed?
I can't name names.
Okay.
But you do have to stay in shape, so the time off is still something where you can diligently get up in the morning, stretch a little bit, hit the gym, go and take some shots, but mentally, that's the most refreshing part of the All-Star break.
And when you think about it, speed, such a fundamental part of Parker's game. You wonder how well he'd age in the NBA.
Well, one season he almost led the league in points in the paint, and that's for a point guard. So those days are gone. He relies more on a deadly in-between game. He's the youngest of the Spurs' big three, but with his hamstring injury just 2 seasons ago, they look to manage those minutes a little bit more carefully.
Good on the second free throw.
And Parker has such speed and creativity, just causes the defense fits in terms of how to properly guard it.
On the wing, Jackson. Back to Caldwell Pope. He kicks it to Morris. Outside Jackson. Beyond the arc. Hits the three-point bomb. And so just over a minute and a half played. Parker with it. He picked up 18 points in their last win against the 76ers in Philadelphia. Aldridge a screen. Leonard against Morris. 6 on the shot clock. From 18 feet away, and he gets the friendly spin, and that one drops.
He's one of those guys the defense always has to watch out for. Burned him there.
Now Jackson. He isn't playing a big part of their offensive scheme, averaging around 15.5 points a game. Near the three-point line, it's Morris. And there's the rebound by Dedmon. Not a fast start here for the Spurs. 4-point game. They're coming off that win against Philadelphia.
And they may have been on the road, but you know what? They nullified any home court disadvantage in that game by how well they shot it from 3.
Well, you could quickly see that using the 3 ball was a huge part of the game plan coming in. And it was the right plan. They got hot, and the D had no answer as to how to cool them off.
Got a hand on it. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession. And a look here at the passing numbers over the last several months for Smith.
One aspect of his game that's suffered the past few months has been his passing. He hasn't shown that same creativity with the basketball that we'd seen from him earlier in the season, and his assists are way down because of it.
The Pistons have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. Jackson passes to Morris, and he gets the bucket.
How about the concentration? He gets hit, but stays with the play and gets the finish.
And he's got his first chance at the line here. That free throw good for Morris. And one thing the Pistons have been doing in recent times is honoring the members of the 2004 championship team. Retired several numbers, and rightly so. You know, Gray, that team was special.
And that 2004 had a great cast of characters, many of whom found a rebirth with the Pistons. That team helped continue the us against the world feeling that the franchise had in the Bad Boys era. Hard to express just how much that team meant to the city of Detroit.
Here's Caldwell Pope following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. Parker against Jackson. To the inside, Morris. And Morris throws it down.
Ooh, that's as forceful a finish as you're ever going to see out of this guy.
Well, gee, it adds now to their lead in spectacular fashion.
And to me, this is why they're winning, guys. Unlikely players stepping up huge against a defense that's really nowhere to be found.
And the Spurs with possession here, following the bucket by the Pistons.
I think the defense was surprised that he did not knock that down. Clear defensive breakdown there, guys. Should have made him pay.
And stolen by Drummond. Morris dishes to Drummond. Puts it up. Drummond with another miss.
Fantastic team defensive effort there. They made him uncomfortable taking that inside look, and it showed in the release.
Now here's Aldridge. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against Philadelphia.
He also did a masterful job in that game of drawing a lot of fouls, so he's creating havoc for the defense.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Greg Popovich and I talked for a few minutes. He told me they always have to be alert, and especially against this team because of its discipline and focus. He said we'll get embarrassed if we're inattentive at the defensive end. We must stick with our principles and do the little things. Kevin, they did win the first meeting of the season, and we'll see if they can get it done again tonight.
Okay, thank you, David. What will you guys be looking for overall, defensively from this team, given they're facing such terrific shooters tonight?
It's going to have to be a total team effort, guys. I mean, you have to be ready to provide help defensively literally every moment you're on the floor.
You might have a game plan that gets into the ABCs. You might get all the way to L in this one. You got to be willing to react to what's going on out there and adjust your game plan accordingly.
And really, he's just done a great job of finding the open man every trip down.
Yeah, great vision, patience. He's been the catalyst for a lot of what they've done tonight.
Now here's Parker. And they get some nice contributions from him on a nightly basis as he averages over 11 points a game. Shot clock at 6. There's the triple. Detroit with the rebound. Caldwell Pope outside. Drummond a screen. Outside Jackson. Here's Drummond. He picked up 24 points in their last one against the Lakers.
I'm not sure in that game if it was him or Dikembe Mutombo out there, guys. I was just hoping to see one finger wave after one of those floor blocks. No, 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 not today.
Now here's Leonard.
The strength in that body that Kawhi has, he finishes through contact as well as anyone in the league.
And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. And you ask Greg Popovich's coach, he says he's never coached a player who improved as rapidly as Kawhi Leonard.
And that's saying a lot. Remember, Tim Duncan won the Finals MVP in his second season playing alongside David Robinson. But by all accounts, Kawhi is just a tireless worker. While he was at San Diego State, Kevin, he brought 2 lamps from home to the gymnasium because they wouldn't turn on the lights early enough for him to get his workouts in. Now, that's what I call a gym rat.
A different look here for Detroit. Tobias Harris has checked in for John Lure, and Smith subbed in for Jackson. And San Antonio also making a switch. David Lee's checked in for Dwayne Dedmon. Pistons leading by 5. Now here is Smith. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Lakers.
And he also was really tenacious about attacking the D and creating wide-open shots for his other guys. That's why his teammates love him.
They grabbed their own miss. No good there. Spurs trail by 5. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Aldridge sets up the pick now for Parker. Pass to Aldridge. Leonard on the wing, covered by Morris. And that's good. Kawhi Leonard for 3. Leonard's got 7 points. The Pistons have gone 7 of 15 from the field to this point. Smith kicks to Drummond. Morris outside. Back to Drummond. The Pistons need to get off a shot here. Smith for 3. Smith missing again.
And that's playing into the hands of the defense right there.
Great effort to go out and challenge that shot. Hard to stay cool under that kind of pressure.
And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a 3-point play. Going to the line for 1.
No clue how he got that one to fall.
Aaron Baines, he's checked in for the Pistons. Darren Hilliard comes in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Anderson, he's checked in for Aldridge. Bertans comes in for Kawhi Leonard. Ano Ginobili's checked in for Green. And it's Mills in for Parker. Passes it to Hilliard. Feeds it to Harris. He dishes it to Smith. Back to Harris. the screen. And it's wide right. Hits off the rim.
And being that close to the hoop, I thought he had enough room to finish that one.
And the pass to Bertens. They set the screen. Kicks to Mills. That shot missing. Smith with the defensive effort. The Pistons trailing. Pass to Baines. Morris outside. Back to Baines. Stolen by Anderson. Now here's Ginobili. Tight defense on him. Here's Lee. San Antonio again missing. Detroit's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Dishes it to Morris. Trying to get back on track. And there it is for him. Morris has got 7 points.
I'm watching Ish Smith watch his teammates. Great swing to the wide open man for the uncontested shot.
And here is Ginobili looking for his first basket still in this one. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession. Teams that make their free throws, they're so tough down the stretch. Let's check out the best. In the third spot, the Spurs.
You know, it's really a team-wide talent. You want to foul to stop layups, but against them, you're not saving much. They'll make you pay time and again.
Smith outside. Here's Harris. That one a little long. San Antonio trailing here. Pass to Bertens. Ginobili outside. Anderson outside. Back to Ginobili. 6 to shoot. Anderson the screen. Takes a 3. That doesn't go either by Ginobili. And, well, Detroit shooting 42% to begin this game. Passes it to Hilliard. Pistons passing it around. Harris kicks to Hilliard. To the left wing. There's the screen. Lets it go from deep. Bangs home the trifecta. Hilliard's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
You know, the defense was lax right there, and he's able to make them pay.
Back to Lee. Anderson the screen. And Mills kicks to Lee. But he recovers it. And Lee with the stuff.
Oof, this guy is a beast on the board.
And when he gets those second chance points, he does not waste one of them.
Well, you love the NBA, but some of these guys have the DNA. He also outworks everybody. Filthy combination.
And it's good for 2. Harris has got his first points in this one. Spurs trail by 4. And Mills kicks to Anderson. 55 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Back to Ginobili. Screen by Lee. Ginobili attacking. Second shot opportunity. And the layup by Lee. Lee's got 7 points in the game.
Now he snakes around that offensive glass. Played that carom just right.
Now here is Smith. Covered by Mills. We've got 28 seconds left here in the first quarter. Morris with the bucket. San Antonio's gone just 1 of 4 from 3-point range here in the first. 17 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. Bertens passes to Ginobili. The dish to Lee. Chalk up 2 there. 9 points in the game so far. 6 seconds left to play in the first. Here's Smith. Can't get it to fall. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. It's Detroit. They're up by 2. It's the NBA on 2K Sports from the Palace of Auburn Hills. And one of the most competitive men ever to play this game, Manu Ginobili, spoke with us about this year.
just rely on what happened in the past, then you're stuck in the past. And we, many of us, maybe our last shot, our last season, we don't even know if we're going to have another season. So, you know, we want to do as good as we can.
Well, the fire is still there, but the energy and the ability, guys, to get it done physically, let's face it, at this point, Ginobili's mostly gutting it out.
Still, you know, though, he'll either beat you or go down swinging. Just a tough individual.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter. And what stands out to you from the Pistons so far in this one?
They came out with the purpose of playing for one another, making the extra pass throughout that first quarter.
Yeah, swinging the ball around until they get a great look. That's how you pile up the assist totals and keep your coach happy.
On the wings, Caldwell, Pope, and Harris. John Lure's out there with Andre Drummond, and it's Smith in at the 1 spot. That's the 5 on the floor for the Pistons. Now, here is Smith. David Lee missing his last shot. Smith with it. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. They get the rebound. Caldwell Pope dishes to Smith. Caldwell Pope kicks to Smith. Inside. The second chance effort. Harris misses. Harris has gotten just 1 of his 4 attempts from the floor tonight.
Well, with defenses so predicated on taking away threes and layups, the Spurs zigged while everyone else zagged. Got a bunch of mid-range shooters last season. It's a fail-safe strategy. They want three-pointers and layups, but if they can't get them, they've got the guys to knock down the in-between.
All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, Kawhi Leonard keeps getting better year after year. The 2014 Finals MVP said, "I'm very confident with where I'm at. Every time I step on the floor now, I know I can be a factor. Offensively, defensively, shooting threes, working my way into the post, setting other guys up. Kevin, he can do it all."
He's grown into that role of franchise player, DA. Great stuff. Thank you. And talking about the Spurs' good mid-range shooters, for them, Brent, an open shot from that distance is a good look.
Well, I think Greg Popovich did a great job, Kevin, of assembling a roster of mid-range shooters who can be quite deadly there. So the offense is set up to find those shots with good ball movement and good player movement. It's not settling for the mid-range. That's what they're looking to get.
So it's the Spurs now. Only giving up 2 points this quarter. Next up for them, the Knicks, a road game in New York. Out to Lee. High post try. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. Pistons have gotten off to a rough start here in the second quarter, going just 1 for 5. Smith outside. He feeds it to Drummond. Out to Harris. Puts up a 3. Lee gets the rebound. Lee's got his 3rd rebound on the night. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Leonard kicks to Lee. Right side Aldridge. Ginobili outside. Good, and Aldridge gets the assist. Ginobili's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Detroit's got nothing but zeros from long range in the second quarter. 0 of 4. Drummond a screen. Smith kicks to Drummond. The feed to Caldwell Pope. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good.
Yeah, a bit frigid to begin this one. Just can't make anything to get the game started.
Outside Aldridge. Screen by Lee. Mills, that's a 2-pointer. Rebound, Detroit. Drummond's got 8 rebounds in this game. Feeds to Smith. He kicks to Drummond. Clock at 6. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Reggie Jackson's checked in for Detroit. The Spurs also changing it up. Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for Lee. Green comes in for Manu Ginobili. And Tony Parker is subbed in for Patty Mills. Well, you were a pretty good passer in your day. When you look at the playmakers in the NBA, who do you like?
Love Ricky Rubio in Minnesota, the way that he sees the floor. I think he's fantastic in the open court and gives his guys a lot of great opportunities that normally they wouldn't see. Chris Paul in LA for the Clippers operates in the pick and roll better than anybody maybe we've seen in the game of basketball, maybe in its history.
Big statement.
With his mid-range game and the way that he sets up guys around him. Those are two of my favorite.
I like them.
All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force on this run.
Pistons trail by 6. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
Caldwell Pope kicks to Jackson. Out left to the wing. To the middle. Got a piece of it. Now Green. An 11-point game for him in the win against Philadelphia. Parker's shot is off. Pistons shooting just 39% from the field, struggling to find that net. To the paint, here's Lure. Good for the basket, starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with their work down low.
Aldridge, the pass to Parker. Harris against Leonard. He dishes it to Aldridge. Clock at 6. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
And LaMarcus at 6'11" is capable of playing both the power forward spot and, as the league moves forward, the center position. He favors playing the 4, but that versatility was huge in the Spurs signing him and keeping him around, something every team would value.
And that one falls for LaMarcus Aldridge. And when you talk about Aldridge at the 4 or at the 5, Brent, which position do you think he's best in?
Well, Kevin, seeing the league going smaller and smaller, he's more skilled, I think, than most centers at that 5 spot. He's got great foot speed, lateral movement's good, and he can stay in front of the smaller players, and that enables him to stay big against small ball lineups.
So he gets them both.
And what a huge advantage when your bigs can be on the floor to get fouled and shoot free throws.
Jackson dishes to Caldwell Pope. Outside Jackson. Here's Drummond. Rebounded by the Spurs. Dedmon's got his 6th rebound on the night. Leonard kicks to Green. And the pass to Dedmon. Dishes it to Leonard. And John Lure gets the whistle that time. That's foul number 2 for him.
That is a terrible foul to commit. He now has 2, and he's going to have to play more conservative from now on.
Bertans, he's checked in for the Spurs.
And you look back on the Pistons, and whenever that group has had success as a franchise, it's always driven by a team-oriented concept. I mean, yeah, they've had stars, Isaiah Thomas, Chauncey Billups, but at the heart of all their title runs was a group of 5 guys that just played for each other.
And we'll examine here how the distribution has been between 3-pointers and 2-pointers tonight for the Spurs.
They are shooting the lights out from beyond on really limited attempts. So you have to think they ought to feed those hot hands on the perimeter and see if they can keep this thing going.
From deep, Green bangs home the trifecta. Green's got 6 in the quarter. And thinking about the Pistons and their history of winning with pure team basketball, Greg, you can see that this is what this group is always striving for.
And Kevin, this group right now reminds you a little bit of those Pistons teams of the past. I mean, they're founded on defense. They got that tough mentality in the paint. You've got to be excited about this roster they've assembled here in Detroit.
Here's Bertans. A chance there to push it to double digits, but it's off the mark. Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
Kicks to Parker. Carries it from about 10 feet away.
And as soon as Parker catches the ball, he immediately rises up and pulls the trigger. Love to see the confidence on display there.
There's the pick. Pass to Drummond to stop the run. And that's going to be a travel. And now the 2K leaderboard, a list of the teams that have rebounded the ball tremendously over the last 10 games. The Pistons second. Number 5, the Spurs.
Yeah, both squads just rebounding the ball so well here of late. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting matchup from a physical standpoint.
Pass to Leonard. Shoots from 14, and he hits the jump shot. Leonard's got 12.
Well, at a time when threes and dunks are the toast of the league, Leonard showing that strong mid-range game can be just as valuable.
Jackson passes to Drummond. Back to Parker. Here's Dedmon, defended by Drummond. Green dishes to Leonard. It's hauled in by Harris. Harris has got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Outside Jackson. Now here's Lure. He's guarded closely. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. Hard to believe that a player as talented as Drummond slipped to number 9 in the draft, but that's what happened to him. You knew the potential was there, and you know what? He's lived up to what he can do.
Yeah, and I remember the fears were he was just too raw coming into the NBA. Always had an NBA-ready body, and he is physically imposing at times. But credit him for working hard to play to his strengths. It's why he's developed into a star.
A different look here for Detroit. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for John Lure. Marcus Morris comes in for Harris. And Darren Hilliard's subbed in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Anderson's checked in. And he's good on the second.
Well, I tell you what, it didn't take long for everyone to recognize that Andre Drummond was going to be a dominant rebounder in this league. He just inhales everything within his reach out on the floor. And then he's got that great blend of length and strength to get after every miss. Incredible feet and hands to go along with that. And this is a guy that just has superstar written all over him.
Yeah, no disparaging remarks with regards to his effort in this one. He's making everything, and he needs his teammates to step up to the plate to help him out.
And it's hard to stop talking about Drummond. The rebounding, of course, helps him get the easy points when it comes on the offensive end of the court. Greg, a terrific offensive rebounder.
It's almost like a feedback loop with him. I mean, you get an offensive board, he gets an easy score. He starts getting on a roll, and then the next thing you know, he's blowing up for a 20-20 game.
Well, he has a great ability to lead his man with the pass, puts him in great position to score.
Drummond a screen. Jackson kicks to Baines. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. Baines has got his first bucket in this one. Passes it to Dedmon. There's the dish to Green. He feeds it to Parker. Dedmon passes to Parker. Anderson. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
And the Spurs, known as an organization for their diligence and discipline, it's all about their results and certainly about the accountability from coach to player, and more importantly, Kevin, from player to player.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one. Free throw, good, Anderson. And you talk about the Spurs culture. They seem totally unconcerned with who gets the limelight. In fact, Brent, they seem to avoid it.
Yeah, there always is this idea that they dance around those spotlights until it's the biggest of stages. But the team really does have just one agenda, Kevin, and that is becoming the best basketball team that they can by the end of the season. And in some years, that means championships. And in other years, it means just contending for a title. but every year they're making that push.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over.
Start it.
And while we've got a chance, let's check out the stats for Morris. He's averaging 14 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And some pretty good numbers, guys. He's certainly making a contribution.
Here's Hilliard. It's Jackson atop the key. And there's another one for the Pistons. Now here's Parker. Outside, Green. Anderson kicks to Parker. There's a good screen. Drops in the layup for 2. Parker's got the lead up to 14 now for the Spurs.
Well, even with the defense right in his face, Parker is just in his comfort zone down inside with that look.
Morris with a screen on Parker. Morris right side. Back to Jackson. Just 5 on the clock. Lets it go with a 3. And there's the rebound by Dedmon.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting slightly out-rebounded.
Parker against Jackson. Another miss by Parker.
You can't fault him for taking the open look, guys. Just didn't go in for him, but you know, he'll look to shoot that one again.
Here's Drummond. Already it's February. Let's see how the East is matching up. We'll look at Cleveland, earning the first place position with a terrific record. And we've seen them perform splendidly pretty much all season long so far, and they're definitely the team to beat. And of course, the Detroit Pistons, just way behind.
And I think for the Pistons, they've basically lived up to the expectations so far this season, and that's not really good news for their fan base because those expectations only had them on the brink of the playoffs.
Unfortunately, those expectations were right on the money. They just weren't ready to join that elite group of teams at the top of this league. And they're still in the playoff picture, and we all know anything can happen in the postseason.
And working, Kevin, themselves to the line here in the second, a nice way to get your offense going.
Is Smith. He's checked in for Detroit. San Antonio also making some changes. David Lee's checked in for Dwayne Dedmon. Ginobili comes in for Green. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. And that trip coming up empty, missing both.
Coach Pop often talks about the value of corporate knowledge, the procedures and shared philosophies that guide his basketball teams year after year. They're actually compiling a database called the Spurs Way to make sure that knowledge is passed down over time.
And you think of the incredible success, Brent, the Spurs have enjoyed. You know it firsthand. You'd love to look at that written record for the Spurs and see that recipe.
Well, as much as there's X's and O's that go on in between the lines for the San Antonio Spurs, it's just very hard to duplicate or emulate what it is that the Spurs have been able to find in terms of the character of their team. That's what many franchises right now, Kevin, I don't think have a great handle on.
And Morris drops them both. Spurs leading by 12. Mills passes to Bertans. Now the feed to Lee. And 1:01 left in the second quarter. Mills can't hit. They've been doing a great job of sharing the ball.
And guys, Sade comes to mind for me because right now that offense, it's a smooth operator.
Here's Hilliard. Ball stolen. Ginobili up top. The pass to Bertans. Anderson kicks to Mills. 4 on the clock. This one for 3. Smith with the defensive effort.
Well, he's seen it before where he can light it up with the best in the league, but right now, he just does not have the touch.
Morris outside. And the shot falls short this time. Bertans. He can't hit that time. And so that brings the first half to a close. Spurs lead by 12. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. Pop, what did you think of the pace of your team in the first half?
Well, we've upped the pace. It's what we need to do because we're not as good a defensive team as we used to be, so something's got to give somewhere.
Pop, thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Okay, David, much appreciated. And now time for halftime, so we'll be back in just a bit to get the third quarter underway.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here once again, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you back to the halftime show on 2K Sports. Kawhi Leonard is having one of those nights. He had 12 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. And Shaq, what are your thoughts on how San Antonio played?
The speed they're playing with has been fantastic. They're pushing the ball in transition and catching the defense. That's snapping, Ernie. Anyway, a huge chunk of their offense has come on the break. They've got a nice lead, but they shouldn't slow anything down. I say keep doing what you do.
Kenny, what'd you think about Detroit?
Well, the perimeter D is just too loose. I mean, there's no excuse for letting the team rain that many threes on you. And at that high a percentage, guys aren't fighting through screens. They're not staying with their shooters. They're not helping out. Just bad basketball on the defensive end. They've got to tighten it up on a high level in the second half.
And that about wraps it up, as the second half is just moments away. Now down to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the crew, and we will see you after the game, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
Welcome back to the Palace at Auburn Hills. That's a look at the Renaissance Center, which dominates the skyline in downtown Detroit. Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. Andre Drummond has been sensational.
How about a double-double already? I mean, this is the sort of energy performance that just energizes your entire team.
Well, ending a game with a double-double is typically a good night. Ending the half with one, well, that's some amazing work.
Spurs leading by 12. While we've got a moment, let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. On the court for San Antonio, Parker and Green, the tried and tested backcourt. Leonard and Aldridge, the 2 stars at the 3 and the 4. And it's Lee in at the 5. Now, here's Aldridge. 3 on the clock. And he tries off the glass, but it's no good. Caldwell Pope kicks to Jackson. Drummond a screen. Feeds to Caldwell Pope. Off the mark, had a chance to trim it to single digits. Parker dishes to Green. Spurs passing it around. Lee kicks to Parker. Screen by Lee. Jumper off the screen. The offensive rebound. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. Marcus Morris picks one up there.
Well, pick a tool out of the toolbox. The sheer number of Aldridge's move inside make him so hard not to foul.
And certainly LaMarcus Aldridge has the capability to be a go-to scorer, but Brent, he takes a lot of mid-range contested jump shots. Those aren't historically really Spurs types of shots.
Well, it's been interesting, Kevin, because LaMarcus Aldridge is so good at the mid-range that it's made Popovich rethink some of his offensive calibration, and they've searched him out in the spots where he's best. I think his comfort level continues to rise inside of this offense, and he'll get more and more efficient.
The Spurs making a switch here. Dedmon's checked in. He makes one of two that time.
Second player taken in the 2006 NBA draft. Aldridge has been an all-star multiple times and one of the game's most prolific scorers over the past decade.
Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, guys, as you know, things could have turned out a lot differently for Stan Van Gundy. He was the favorite for the coaching vacancy in Golden State in 2014, but in the end, the Pistons owner gave him the chance to coach and run the front office, and that led him to Detroit. Well, the Warriors went on to win the title that season, but Van Gundy insists, if I had to do it over again, this is exactly where I'd want to be. Kevin, he can build this team exactly as he wants.
Thanks, D.A., and after some tough exits in Miami and Orlando, this time he holds the cards. Free throw, good. Drummond. And team chemistry is so interesting to look at, Brent. You see some teams like the Warriors, players accept lesser roles. Andre Iguodala stands out, a Finals MVP 2 years ago. But in other teams, it's a problem. What creates, in your mind, that difference?
I think you have to understand who you are first and foremost. I know Greg Popovich all the time talks about guys checking their ego at the door and understanding how important it is for you to accept your role. And the quicker you do it, Kevin, the more you can accomplish in a season. I played many years in the NBA where a lot of guys did not understand what the coach was asking them to do until after the All-Star break. And after they accepted the role, the team would have this great run of wins.
Wonderful run.
But too late. If it was 2 months sooner, it would have been teams that would have participated in the postseason.
Coaches, GMs, they love the skill, but they also like the mind that goes with it and the framework with which they're going to play on that team.
It speaks to guys having maturity, Kevin, and that's sometimes hard to come by with how young the league is.
5 on the clock. From deep three-point range, San Antonio with the rebound. They've led by as many as 14 points.
And if you're looking for the main reason that they're trailing in this game, well, look no further than his shooting. I mean, he has hit exactly 0% of his shots.
Now here's Jackson. He has 7. And with that one, the lead is trimmed to single digits. Jackson's got 9.
No doubt about it. He has done a ton to help his team, but he's going to have to do even more if they want to have a chance to get back in this one.
Here is Parker. 5 points in the game. Got him up in the air with the pump fake and then took advantage. And 11 points for Aldridge.
Not many, if any, bigs in the league have a more proficient mid-range game. Aldridge with the soft touch there.
Timeout.
Now a timeout called by Detroit.
Start it.
And the Pistons making a change here. Harris is checked in. And here is the shot chart as we see how things are going.
Well, they're going to have to look elsewhere for points because he has pulled a Houdini and completely disappeared from the offense in this one. Just no production from him, and nothing seems to be in rhythm for him right now. It's just not his night.
It's stolen by Green. Jackson against Parker. Third quarter action and just under 3.5 minutes have gone. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Dedmon. Shot on the wing. Parker's shot is off. Pistons trail by 10. Caldwell Pope outside. Harris outside. He's looking for Drummond and finds him. Fires from 14. And Jackson with the basket on the assist by Drummond. 11 points for Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I saw the defense was there, but not quite aggressive enough to pressure that shot.
Dedmon kicks to Parker. Aldridge sets up the pick now for Parker. Nobody near Leonard. And the three ball is good. Leonard's got 15.
Well, the shooting percentage is excellent so far, and without him, they might not have the lead like they do now.
And here's Jackson. 11 points in the game.
Well, he's got both height and length, and that time showed them both.
Green kicks to Parker. He dishes it to Aldridge. Outside, Green. Pass to Dedmon. Shoots from the block. And there's the whistle on the shot. Took the foul. Shot misses. He'll be shooting 2. And there's the foul against Detroit. And you have to like what Danny Green, Brent, brings to the table defensively. Long arms. Very quick for his size. And he can defend 1 through 3.
Well, that's a pretty good tandem if you're suiting up next to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi takes the stronger guy, and Danny Green usually goes to the quickness defensively. And Green also a strong defensive rebounder and one of the better perimeter shot blockers in the game.
That's good from Green. And you look at Danny Green, your prototypical 3-and-D wing player, a catch-and-shoot specialist offensively.
Well, a great fit for the Spurs system after a little bit of molding. Not a super crafty ball handler, but he's got a quick release from the outside and shoots pretty well, even with a hand in his face.
Second free throw, no good.
A relatively rare trip to the free throw line for Green, averaging just 1 attempt per game over the course of his career.
Drummond. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. Well, folks, tonight a great rebounding game we're watching in progress. And now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the all-time record for rebounds in a single game. How about Wilt Chamberlain with 55 rebounds back on November 24th, 1960.
And guys, that's one of those records that always seemed to me impossible to break. I mean, in the modern era, nobody's even sniffed that 55 rebound mark. I mean, heck, a lot of teams don't get 55 rebounds in a game, and Wilt's owned it since 1960.
As the NBA, Brent, becomes more and more of a skill game where versatility is so valuable, you certainly fit that description as a player. Do you like the way the game is going in that regard?
I do like it, Kevin, and I'll return a question to you and ask you if you think that the skills of the players are just more honed than they were maybe 25, 30 years ago because of their availability to these specialized coaches. This was not the way it was for that generation of players.
Excellent point, but have the rules even enhanced it more that players can show more of their skills now?
Yeah, there's no question about it that the league has tended to go towards being able to allow guys freedom of movement, off-ball movement. The flow of the game is much better. The three-point shot, as we've talked about at length, has opened up the floor, and you get to see the grace and athleticism of some of the game's best.
Dishes to Parker. He kicks to Leonard. Shoots a fader. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. Pistons trail by 11. Harris passes to Jackson. Drummond a screen. Off the screen. Jackson misses.
You can't fault him for taking the open look, guys. Just didn't go in for him, but he'll look to shoot that one again.
Aldridge down low. He's against Lure. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Well, coming into the league, Kawhi Leonard was not a perimeter shooter, but he's developed into one of the league's finest. No longer a spot-up threat, though. He can create some offense on the block, able to handle the ball, and bully smaller players with that massive frame at 230, just moving defenders around.
First one falls for him. And Brent, you look at the growing offensive role for Kawhi Leonard. For as many touches as he gets, he hardly ever turns the ball over.
Well, have you seen his hands, Kevin? How would you get the ball away from those things? You just don't find players who can score in isolation, space the floor, and protect the ball as well as he does.
He's perfect from the line this time. And a hot button topic in the NBA right now, intentional fouling. Brent, we've talked a little bit about it. What should the league do to take steps to cut down on the hack of player strategies that seem to be more in vogue now than ever before?
Of course, we always say just go up and make your free throws, big guys. But I think strategically there could be something done with the league, Kevin, that can make that rule very, very interesting. I've always thought that if the player as a center or whoever it is you're going to foul stays in the backcourt and never enters the possession, he can't be fouled. When he enters the front court, then you can foul him and put it at the free throw line. So what you're doing essentially, taking a poor free throw shooter and having to play 4-on-5 for a possession if you're willing to keep him on the floor. And from a strategy standpoint, I think it would make it very interesting.
Just trying to get a break in the action to clear some heads here. I mean, they've gone ice cold, and not a bad idea to give them a little quick breather.
Well, take your breather, but then come up with a game plan or a set that produces something high percentage. Let's get back on track.
All right, a chance to check out stats for Leonard. Unbelievable play for him over the last month. He's around 30 points per clip, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He has been at his most dynamic, no question about it, a real handful.
Over in the corner, Caldwell Pope from the arc. Good on the triple.
Well, the defense very attentive to him in the first quarter, but he's finally gotten loose in the second and making them pay.
Now here's Mills, covered by Smith. Screen by Lee. And Ginobili wide open. He shoots. Again, the miss by the Spurs. It's deflected. Leonard with the steal. Puts it up. Cans the shot from the wing. Leonard's got 19 points.
Well, the defender leaning just a little. Kawhi recognizes it, pulls up for the easy one.
Smith with it. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Kicks to Baines. Good. And Harris gets the assist.
Worked that one inside nicely.
Spurs leading by 10. Now Ginobili. A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game. In the corner, it's Aldridge. Lets it go from the baseline and nails it. Aldridge has got 5 points in the quarter.
Well, whether he's wide open or a hand in his face, Aldridge is built to rack up points with a jump shot.
Harris, right side. Puts it up from 12. No good off the back of the rim. San Antonio's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. Leonard draws the double. Lee kicks to Ginobili. Drops in the tray. Ginobili's got 6.
Wide open there. The defense just completely in snooze mode.
Smith outside. There's the pick. Caldwell Pope outside. 6 to shoot. And Harris wide open. He shoots. Harris missing again.
Well, he could not have been any more wide open, guys. Wow, I bet he nails that shot next time he gets a clean look.
Lee dishes to Mills. Up top, Leonard. Screen by Lee. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
And on an open look like that, he's very gifted at making the weak coverage pay.
Here's Smith. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Caldwell Pope passes to Harris. There's the dish to Baines. They get a hand on it, and it's out of bounds, and they say it was last touched by Leonard. And Coach Greg Popovich named the new head coach for the U.S. national team for the next 4 years. And Brent, I bet you like that selection.
No, I love that selection, especially with Pop's military background. And he's been an assistant for Team USA since 2002. So he's done a lot of great things in the pros, but I know Pop takes a great deal of pride, not only in his country, of course, but certainly in coaching that team.
Here's Lee. Tobias Harris picking up that last basket. Ginobili right side. Pass to Mills. Anderson a screen on Harris. Now here's Mills. He gives the team some steady offense, a bit under 10 points a game.
This is some of what he does best. Mills can shoot from downtown.
And here's Smith. Passes to Baines. The shot that time, not on target. Good D by Lee. The feed to Mills. Lee outside. Now the pass to Anderson. Here's Ginobili. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Oh, there's a surprise. Manu out hustling somebody. Don't forget about him inside.
Marcus Morris is checked in for Darren Hilliard. The Spurs have shot 10 of 13 from the free throw line. That free throw good from Ginobili.
Well, even in these limited minutes, Emmanuel Manu Ginobili continues to provide elite play at the shooting guard position. Finds ways to impact the game. If he's not scoring, it's his playmaking and just his spirit that helped the Spurs in many instances.
Now here is Harris. They count on his contributions, currently providing 16.5 points a game. And good that time.
Man, this guy is a scoring machine. I mean, I know I'm not the only one to describe him that way.
Back to Lee. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. And here's Mills from the arc. It's hauled in by Harris. Harris has got 5 rebounds tonight. And Brent, do you think when it's all said and done that Ginobili has the chance to go down as the greatest sixth man in NBA history?
Well, I've checked the numbers on John Havlicek, and he might have something to say about that. But Manu was on a very short list of a guy who's accepted his role and then excelled at it to championship caliber play.
And so it's San Antonio with it after the basket by Detroit. Left side Anderson. Back to Ginobili. Fires from 14, and he didn't get quite enough under that one.
Yeah, he is struggling mightily, but his teammates in this one have picked him up.
Smith kicks to Harris. Morris outside. Here's Smith, and a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
Got to credit Ish Smith there with the fearlessness. He isn't afraid of getting in there and getting contact.
Pistons have had some good chances at the line, but only gone 6 of 12 from the stripe.
And taking a look at their free throw statistics on the season, right around 74%.
No good on the free throw. And he sinks the second. Spurs leading by 14. Mills with it. 6 points for him. Picked by Lee. Just 3 on the clock. And there's Ginobili. That's good on the assist by Mills. And that's now 11 points for Ginobili. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. It's San Antonio up by 16. And when we return, we'll get the fourth quarter rolling right here on 2K Sports. Let's listen in now to head coach Stan Van Gundy from a few moments ago.
Hey! Come on, we got to do this together and play some defense. Let's go.
Stan Van Gundy pleading with his team. Guys, get on the same page is his message, and stay together.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to take good communication on both ends of the floor to give Coach what he wants.
And we're getting underway here in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here. They've got John Lure. Ish Smith is out there with Jackson. Then there's Andre Drummond, and it's Morris in at the 3 slot. That's the group for Detroit right now. Now here's Parker after the miss from Andre Drummond. Parker outside. That one goes. Count it. Parker's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Spurs. Smith dishes to Jackson. There's the pick. It falls through, making him 6 for 11 in the game.
Yeah, so solid converting at the rim. The defense can't give him that look.
Parker kicks to Green. We've played just over 1 minute here in the fourth quarter. And it's Parker again missing. Pistons trail by 16. Feeds it to Drummond. Morris a screen. Drummond passes to Smith. Shoots from the baseline. Again, the Pistons good for 2. So it's the Spurs now. Earlier in the game, they had a 19-point lead. Pass to Dedmon. Parker outside. He feeds it to Aldridge. And all around the rim that time before dropping in. And the Spurs lead by 16. For Detroit, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. Jackson dishes to Drummond. Shoots from 12. Lure can't hit. The Spurs shooting well. They're at 45%. Green kicks to Parker. Pass to Bertans. 6 on the shot clock. And it's sent back by Drummond. And they'll keep possession.
The defense arrived just in the nick of time to throw him off there. So fortunate he missed that one, guys.
Morris a screen. 14 feet away. It's good. The assist this time from Jackson. Jackson's got his 8th assist in the game. Aldridge with a screen on Jackson. Parker with a clean look. Here's Dedmon. It's stolen by Smith. And here comes Jackson leading the fast break. Wants to get it to Lure and does. Good D by Parker. San Antonio leading by 14 to the paint. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass. 17 points for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, and that's what you want from your point guard. Parker distributing the ball wonderfully on that possession.
Drummond a screen. Jackson kicks to Drummond to the middle. Here's Smith. Soft touch off the glass.
Fantastic awareness out on the floor. That's a textbook assist.
Now Parker dishes to Dedmon. Back to Green. He kicks to Aldridge and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Shooting fewer free throws as he's moved his game to the perimeter, Aldridge still has the capacity to force you to foul.
And he knocks down the first one. Leonard, he's checked in for Bertans. Both free throws good from Aldridge. Pistons trail by 16. On the wing, Jackson. Good D by Parker. The Spurs have gone 3 of 7 from the floor in the fourth. That's a 42% mark in the quarter. Offensive rebound, Aldridge. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Clearly a foul.
That free throw good from Aldridge. Both free throws good from Aldridge.
Well, he's putting his game right in the face of the defense right now and just driving into the paint to get contact.
Drummond a screen. Jackson passes to Drummond. Jackson against Parker. He dishes it to Leonard. Down low and stolen by Drummond. Morris into the lane. Up again. It's good on the putback.
That is really good work there on the offensive glass.
Parker outside. Here's Leonard. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. Jackson dishes to Drummond. Kicks it to Jackson. Drummond a screen. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. And that's now 21 points for Andre Drummond. Parker kicks to Green. Parker outside. Shot clock at 6. The dish now to Aldridge. That shot missing, and the Pistons now going the other way. Here's Jackson. Pass to Drummond. There's a screen. Inside, 9 feet out, Jackson misses. Spurs leading by 14. Parker passes to Leonard. Outside Aldridge. Parker dishes to Dedmon. Lets it go from 14. San Antonio again missing. And it's Drummond with the jam.
A beautiful look from Ish Smith there, always looking to get his teammates involved.
San Antonio's gone 0-3 so far in the fourth quarter from long range. Parker kicks to Aldridge. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. The shot's good. And the Spurs lead by 14.
Almost uncontested. I mean, it's nice to be able to add to the lead without having to really work for it.
They're looking like a beaten team at this point, letting him get to the basket with such little resistance.
The Spurs making a switch here. Lee's checked in.
Shooting 2.
That one is off. Caldwell Pope, he's checked in for Detroit. No luck that time either. Spurs leading by 14. Elbow shot. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
Yeah, tip of the cap there. Green has the strength and focus to get that shot off, even with the man on him.
Caldwell Pope outside. Now the feed to Jackson. From 13 feet, it goes down. And San Antonio shooting 43% from the field. Parker passes to Leonard. The baseline J. Rebounded by Jackson.
Well, after an impressive first half, he's just not been able to get the room or get anything going here in the second.
Here's the screen. Now the pass to Drummond. Shot left block, and it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. That's on LaMarcus Aldridge.
You know, if you ask any great player what separates good from great in terms of the NBA is confidence. And Reggie Jackson has never been short on having confidence. I mean, he feels as if he's been a star ever since he came into this league and just needed the opportunity. And I tell you what, I think he's right. I mean, he's made the most of it coming over to Detroit and did not skip a beat. And I tell you what, Stan Van Gundy is very happy to have him at the helm of that point guard position.
Tobias Harris is checked in for Morris. That one is no good. And when you think about Reggie Jackson's demeanor, you can see the confidence he plays with goes right at the taller players. Loves to be challenged by the big name players too.
And it shows most in the fourth quarter. Reggie is the kind of player who wants the ball with the game on the line. He might not always come through, but he isn't one to back down from a challenge.
Now here's Lure. Kawhi Leonard unable to get his shot to go.
There's that length and anticipation. Hard to get the ball over Aldridge in that scenario.
Parker kicks to Leonard. Feeds to Lee. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
That free throw from Lee is good. Good on both. Pistons trail by 16. Caldwell Pope dishes to Jackson. They set the pick. Harris with it. Leonard picks him up. Harris kicks to Jackson. Back to Harris. Just 5 to shoot. Detroit, no good that time either. Spurs leading by 16. Pass to Parker. He feeds it to Aldridge. Rebound by the Pistons. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively for sure.
Jackson against Parker. Harris outside. Shoots from 12. Lands soft on the front of the rim and drops.
And that's just a great individual play right through the teeth of the defense.
Green kicks to Parker. Drummond working against Aldridge. There's David Lee on the assist by Aldridge. 13 points for David Lee. Pistons trail by 16. Outside Jackson. The 15-footer. Rebound San Antonio. Aldridge has got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one. Leonard on the wing. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Leonard's got 9 points here in the second half.
And if you thought this game was over already, you're probably right.
Well, let's give credit to where it is due. They refused to take their foot off the gas pedal, even after it was obvious they were in full control of this basketball game.
That one good for 2.
And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority, very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for the Spurs.
They made more foul shots, and that was the difference.
That was a big advantage. The other team was defending with their hands instead of moving their feet, and they handed them a lot of easy points at the line.
And this will make it 41 victories for them on the year.
And in a 3-game season series, they take the first 2, and certainly they've had the edge in this matchup. And while it's a team game, you can't win without guys showing up, and that was the case tonight for Kawhi Leonard.
You know, fellas, if we put this one on tape, we could send it out as a clinic. It was awesome. Physically and mentally, just dialed in. And when you got a guy with his talent able to outwork and outthink everyone else on the floor, it results in this kind of dominant performance.
First free throw is good for the Pistons. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for John Lure. Darren Hilliard comes in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And it's Ish Smith in for Reggie Jackson. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for Aldridge. Bertans comes in for Leonard. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Daniel Green. And it's Mills in for Parker.
A disappointing trip to the line there. Even though it was just one miss, now is not the time to be missing those.
Now here's Mills. Pass to Anderson. Second chance shot, and it's good on the layup.
And this is going to be a fantastic result for them. No win on the road comes easy.
Yeah, their aggressiveness, their execution really silenced a raucous crowd. Love the attitude they came in with here.
Here's Smith after the basket by San Antonio. Dishes to Drummond. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And he knocks down the first one. And so he makes both from the line. 23 seconds left to play in the final quarter. The clock now can just run out for the Spurs. Now here's Mills. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. A solid win on the road for them. This building was dead silent by the time, GA, this one wound down.
And that's what you want to do. Take the crowd out of it by crunch time. Don't give them any chance to lift their team up at the finish.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Marcus, we saw you take that hit and get the and one going to the foul line. Was that something that was organic, or was that something that Coach said he wanted to see from you?
Yeah, I think, I definitely worked on it. I think I'm definitely, have, more confidence in it now, so, I'll do it more.
Well, congratulations, LaMarcus, on the terrific night. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. And that about wraps it up. So for David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, Brent Barry, and the whole 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for being with us. Now time to send you over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson for the postgame show with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, everybody. Ernie Johnson, along with Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, as we present our Jordan Player of the Game, Kawhi Leonard. As so often is the case, he was the straw that stirred up the passion, the confidence, the closing ability that we saw from his team tonight.
From the small forward position, Kawhi Leonard does just about what anyone else has done in the history of the game. I mean, look, he defends, and then on the offensive end, he makes you guard him. Kawhi Leonard is a difference maker on both ends of the floor.
At home, Ernie, on the road, Kenny, doesn't matter. This guy is impossible to handle when he gets rolling. Crowd was doing his best to fire this guy up and get him to respond, but nothing worked. He was too much for him. Great night from a great, great player.
That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. We certainly hope you've enjoyed the show, don't we, guys?
It was great.
Yeah. Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and for Kevin Harlan and the entire 2K Sports crew, all 653,000 of them.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Hard-working.
A lot of people.
Yeah. It's a long line at the buffet, though.
Yeah. Shout out to the T-Pose, man.
Yes.
I don't know his name, but I know his face.
I'm Ernie Johnson. See you next time.